Hello.
Hi, hello, is this Adam?
Yeah, it is. How you doing?
Hey, Adam, this is Tommy. This call is being recorded. How can I help you?
Uh, I'm. Yeah. So I'm glad we were able to connect. So, yeah. So for the call today, I was hoping that we could talk about YouTube monetization. So just have like a kind of a chat, and maybe I can pick your brain about YouTube in general. How does that sound?
All right, let's go.
Cool. All right. So, I wanted to reach out in particular about kind of two different aspects. The first being, I guess, YouTube views, and then alternatively, monetization. So as a little bit of context, like I'm running a channel right now, and over the last, I got to say, like the last 6 months, like the YouTube ads, which is the primary means of how I guess monetize my channel, has been rather low. Like I would say it's probably been about 50% or so of the typical amount. And so obviously that's a little bit unfortunate. And like, I guess like, just as extra context, I feel like in certain ways struggling to be able to monetize beyond that, because I often hear like, your YouTube ad revenue should kind of be like the tip jar of your overall income from the platform, whatever. And perhaps that's just a deficiency in my ability to monetize it further. But before I get into that, just because like I want that to perhaps be in the back of your mind when it comes to our general chat today, is that one thing that I wanted to pick your brain on was, we live in a social media world, and especially when you're running your own channel, it's easy to kind of look at other people in your space or other channels or this and that. And I really wanted to get a sense because, you've obviously exponentially grown your channel in the last few years that I've been following you, is why do you think there's such a discrepancy between, you could have like two people that have, let's just say as an arbitrary number, like 100,000 subscribers, and you'd regularly see someone getting, like for mine, the one that I run, Betterment Boss, like I have roughly 150,000 subscribers now, and each video will get about like 5,000 views or whatever, and that's like okay. But you'll see people that have like half the subscribers getting like 100,000 a video. So I guess like what I wanted to get your impression was, why do you think there's such a disparity sometimes between views and actual subscribers?
Okay. What's your channel about?
It's animated personal finance videos.
Animated personal finance videos. How often do you post?
I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so 3 a week.
Okay. Okay. The thing is, right? You can't control really anything about YouTube except your content and the audience you build. There's a book that's called, I think, the 23 Unreputable Laws of Marketing and also Branding. When you're creating like a YouTube channel, the big thing is you have to connect with your audience. It's not just, for example, about just posting content, because there's just a wealth of finance channels out there, but there's only one channel with Adam's name and Adam's story. Does that make sense? Now,
Yeah.
a big reason why it happens, for example, like my channel, right? I post every day. I might get 3,000, 5,000, 2,000. Some doesn't even get like 1,000 views. Why is that? For example, with other competitors, might get, for example, 100,000 or 200,000 or 1,000,000. The answer is, I don't know. It's just a part of the game. It's the way the game works. So if YouTube decides, hey, we're going to promote this channel even further because maybe their click-through is better, their watch time is better, all of this stuff here is better, they'll do that. I can't control that. The only thing I control is basically the amount of value I give to my audience. Does that make sense? I think when you focus on things you can't control, like aspects of YouTube promoting your content and deciding not to, or if they do promote it heavily, because I think everyone's channel at some point has like this little part where it has like a massive amount of views, and then it kind of slows down, goes to normal, and maybe it might even go down further. But some people get beyond that It happens to PewDiePie, happened to FouseyTube, happened to Roman Atwood, Casey Knight. It happened to everyone. But the people that go beyond that and don't just focus, for example, on the views, are people to be very successful. And another question that you asked is basically, Tommy, people tell me, for example, AdSense is supposed to be like the little tip jars to my content. The thing is, financial channels are very comfortable with AdSense being, for example, their primary source of income. Because in reality, they make so much money because our CPM is so much higher. So when we're making, for example, 20%, I mean, not 20%, like $20, like per thousand views, like 35 or 45, people even make like $50, $80 sometimes. You might say, like, I don't really need to focus on anything else, right? Because you make so much money from there. Now, other channels, when they're making like $10 or $5, they have to find a way to make money aside from AdSense. Because by the way, AdSense is not gonna be that much for them, but for us, it might mean, for example, like 10,000, 15K, 30K, 40K on a very good month. Maybe like even like $50,000, right? Now, when it comes to YouTube, the most important thing in your case is you have to build a brand. You have to build, for example, brand loyalty. People that come to your channel all the time to see you, make it fun, and all that stuff. For example, you have AdSense is a really good way to make money for like financial channels, make a lot of money from that also. But you also have digital products like courses, or for example, physical products like books and so on. That's other aspects of actually making money. Again, finance channels are very, for example, comfortable, so they forget to do this stuff. So when it drops 60% or 40%, they start to worry. It's a part of the game. Nothing's permanent. I think things change for me on YouTube when I noticed that my job is not just to make YouTube money. Because when I make, for example, like 20K a month, YouTube made, for example, 15K, 70K a month. And the only way YouTube makes money is if, for example, I get a lot of views and they promote the channel. My job is more like to fulfill a need for my audience and to also monetize myself in my own way. So if I say I'm going to make a course and my course costs $300, if I make a book, $15, and I say, well, click-through is, for example, 3%. So every time I get 1,000 views, someone buys my course, 3% on average. That means every 1,000 views might be worth, for example, now $300 and so on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to monetize your audience yourself, not through just YouTube, and to solve the problems that they actually have. Because one thing people don't like is feeling like they're just being used or like you're just selling them something that you believe in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I would just say that, you know, it's, I just feel like I'm in a position right now where, because of the volatility of views, like I've been like three videos a week for at least the last couple of years now, whatever. So I'm very consistent about putting stuff out, and like, you know, my engagement's always good on the videos in terms of like my watch time has been really good. Usually about like, I don't know, 55, 60%. And the click-throughs are decent too, which like, I'm not like, you know, I'm kind of like in the same boat, I feel like as you, as you're like, sometimes your videos do well, sometimes they don't. It's out of your control. And I think like, you know, as long as my watch time is always staying around the same percentage, I feel like people are still interested. They just may not be as interested in the topic, but if they are interested in the topic, then at least they're still as interested as normal as in terms of the content I'm putting out and me as the person, you know, hopefully giving them some guidance. So that's like the main thing I look for. Because sometimes, you know yourself, right? Some people are just not going to be as interested in that topic, like how to pay down your mortgage faster. Well, they may think, I don't have a mortgage, so really not relevant to me. So they click off, they're not interested. But I want to bring up, I want to comment on one of the things you said, just being that, you know, I just can control that I'm going to publish a video every single day and I'm going to be there for my audience, which I think is obviously great because it's hard to be able to continuously upload and you're always looking for new ideas, and it can be kind of anxiety ridding, like of a process when you're like, okay, what do I make another video about? Like when you're pumping out 7 a week. But I also think that, like, you know, do you believe that there is some way that you can kind of, in a certain way, strategize your content to be able to kind of allow YouTube to put the wind at the back of your sails to push you forward a little bit more. And one example I guess I'll use is, I'm sure you've realized the same, is that in the last year, crypto channels have been just like absolutely exploding. And then, a year ago, it was talking about stimulus checks exploding, right? So do you feel like there's any value in obviously like giving out normal content that totally aligns to your value system, like as you do, but then also, keeping your head on a swivel for what are things that people are truly interested in at the present time, and creating content around that, so YouTube maybe can give you a little bit of an extra push at the same time?
Okay. So the big thing is you have to understand the system in the game you're playing. The system YouTube plays is that they also have competitors, right? They have TikTok, they have Instagram, they have Facebook, and the more eyes on their platform, the better. So whenever something is very interesting, they have to push that content. Now, one thing that I've noticed, for example, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, is that trends tend to die. And when you build, for example, an audience just based on getting views, a lot of times when the trends like switch, you might not have any of those audience left. For example, the answer is when you have trendy content versus evergreen content, and the content you're actually very like hyped to actually make, how do you balance that? The answer is you just do both. So for example, if I notice that cryptocurrency is like this flaming hot topic, now one thing I'm never gonna do is, am I gonna talk about cryptocurrency in a way that's just like not along with my values? Like, hey, go do this, go do that, go do this. If I'm not actually doing it myself, the answer is no. One thing I say is, whatever I tell you to do, I would tell my mom to do, my brothers to do, because it's just in line with my values. But when I do talk about cryptocurrency, I'm saying, hey, here are the pros with this stuff, here are the cons with this stuff. Am I doing this? The answer is no. Why am I not doing this? Here's the answer to that too. What does history show? There's always a very interesting way to input your opinion into whatever you're talking about, because at the end of the day, YouTube is just a bunch of people sharing their opinions and the facts that they actually believe in or whatever it is. And for example, it's kind of like our career is just like Warren Buffett. 1929, I think he was like, I don't even know how old he was. He was very young, right? The whole thing crashed. When he bought his first stock, he sold it, then it went up even further. And then you had, for example, I think it was in 1950, 1940s, where you had the whole bio stock boom. Everything that had bio attached to it was selling like crazy. Was he buying? I'm not sure. Then you had, for example, 2000, the whole tech bubble. Anything with a .com at the end of it was selling like crazy. Was he buying? The answer was no. Everyone thought he was an idiot. But when it was over and the whole thing crashed, oh my gosh, Warren's so smart. When the whole thing happened now with cryptocurrencies, he's doing that. The answer is no. Because again, he's not doing it because he doesn't understand it. And on top of this, he's not in line with his values. My point is, you have to do what works for you and not worry about whatever anybody else is thinking about it or whatever YouTube is doing for you. Because again, YouTube is just going to push the best content out there according to how many views it's going to get for their platform and engagement for their platform. They have their own agenda. You have your own agenda. My agenda, and by the way, ideas for finance for me, at least for me personally, me and my editor, Danny, we don't pump out 7 videos a week. We pump it around somewhere around, on a very bad week, maybe 14. On a very bad week, we might do like 28. On a very good week, we might do like 30. Because for the main channel, 14, yeah. So we do like a lot of content. My main thing is I love talking about money. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I would still talk about money. And my friends get really annoyed with it, so I put it on the internet because there's more people over there to actually talk to them about it. And I'm constantly reading books on it and the whole topic, so I'm always having something to share about it. There's no anxiety here. If I don't have a topic to talk about, it's almost impossible because there's always like so many ideas out there. I want to share my opinion also on it. But the key is you can't focus on the views. If I focus on the views, I would have been so disappointed when the channel went. I remember my first viral video, semi-viral. It was it was this video about this company. It was like an app. Remember when the app stuff was hot too? When everyone was talking about apps. Yeah, that's how I got on. Talking, like reviewing apps, calling customer service, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But if I had stayed there, I would have been irrelevant by now. My whole goal is I'm gonna ride this wave, right? Which sometimes it'll be cryptocurrency, stimulus checks. I'll make videos about that also, but I'll also make videos about the really important stuff. Because at the end of the day, like if you get a stimulus check, does it really matter? If you get the whole like thing with cryptocurrency, does it really matter? I'm just sharing my opinion based on history, based on facts. That's all that matters to me. Giving value to. I remember someone told me, if you get one view and one like and you help one person, does your video matter? The answer for me at the time was, that's kind of messed up. It was like a waste of video. But as I've grown, I'm more like, if I help one person and it could change their life and I added value to it, that's all that matters. And when you're getting 5,000 views, bro, imagine 5,000 people in your bedroom watching you make a video and waiting for it. That's the way I picture it. So I get really hyped with that number. When I get 1 million views, okay, great, whatever. Because it's not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
it's like astronomical at that point. But I see what you're saying is like when you actually look at it on a human being basis, or even if you get a video with like 20,000 views and you think that's like a whole arena.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's like an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, I totally get that. And I think it's also like just being there for people is important, because I'll be honest, like, you know, I'm starting out a new channel and I have the other one that's already running, and like over the last little while I feel like just like money culture online has just been even like worse. Of, you know, like it's just all about like getting the most amount of views, showing off what you have, and like even as someone who's like in their later 20s, I'm like, I should not be succumbing to these feelings, but it's just the reality of being in an ecosystem where everyone's like has the next greatest thing, and it's not like I'm super materialistic, but it's just like when you're grinding out hefty hours and you look at it and you're like, okay, so this person puts out one video a week, and like I can't see it as a distinguishedly different thing from what I'm doing, but they're just doing it such a greater, or they're just getting so much more attention for their output. It kind of makes you wonder at times, like, you know, is there something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? But what you're saying is, as long as you know that you're doing the best you can and that you're helping at least a few people out, like use that as your driving force versus the comparison against others.
And if you read, there's a book on investing. It's called is One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, and he says if you want to be a really good investor, you have to have a set foundation in place. So that way, you're not emotionally involved too much. What I mean is, if you're gonna make an investment and it drops by 50%, but you have to pay the bills by Monday and you don't have that money, you might have to sell early. Even though it might be a good investment, it's dropped temporarily. Now, YouTube, how does that relate? I don't know what you've been doing, right? But I've been saving for winters all of my life. So 99% of all the money I make on YouTube has been either invested or saved. I've used none of it. Because even before YouTube, I was making around $8,000 to $10,000 a month, something like that. So I never, YouTube was just like a thing that I always wanted to do since I was 11 years old. Now the thing is, if you make X amount of money from YouTube, do you have a side job, by the way? You have another job or no?
I have a 9 to 5, and then I run the channel I just mentioned, and then just the other one that I just started.
How much does the channel make you, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, sure. So the last few months has been about, let's say $5,000 a month in ad revenue.
Okay.
Which, as I said, is about like 50% of what it was making last summer. So that's hence my frustration. Is like you're either pulling in 5 figures or you're pulling in much less. And so, Tommy, I guess my frustration was just like, I feel like I don't have enough control for it to be like a full-time thing. Because if I could just easily be cashing like 5 figures a month and I had it like very, very regular, I'd be like, okay, this is something I could almost do full-time. But given the volatility of it, and I just feel like when I produce content, there's just no way for me to really get a sense of how it's going to turn out in terms of results, in terms of views and then revenue. It's not sustainable for me, right? Like I would need a little bit more of, I guess, an assurance that the income would be sufficient.
How much do you make from your job per month?
Like that's about, I guess, gross is $6,000. Like every month combined, it's like, net. I don't know, like $10,000, $12,000. Oh, net?
Not from your main job.
Oh, net for my main job after taxes, like I guess 4K.
All right, so let's say you're making $9,000, right? You gotta ask yourself, right? How much money do I need in my investments to actually just be financially free? At least for me, for example, my math was always, well, I'm gonna do YouTube until I invest, for example, $1.2 million, and then I can be financially free and all this stuff. But then my plan has shifted a ton. It means, for example, if I make, by the way, YouTube has gone down for me also. I went from making like 45K per month like last year to now making like somewhere like around 20,000, sometimes 17,000 like dollars per month. And it sounds crazy to say like, oh my God, things are going so terrible. Oh my gosh, you're making $5,000 a month. You know, it's insane. But it's just like comparing what you did before to what you're doing now. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means, for example, the playing board has shifted to more like crypto stuff, and you don't have that content to sustain it. It shifted to now we have more competition. So that also means, hey, there's more people to actually like put their eyes on all that stuff. But the main thing is, me personally, if I have X amount of money invested, you know, I'm super honest with everything. I have around $325,000 invested into like retirement accounts and like taxable accounts. If I have like $150,000 in cash, I can use that money to buy a property for cash potentially like by next year. And now my house is taken care of. I get passive income coming in every single month from my investments and so on. And I still have YouTube income coming in. By this point, if YouTube goes down to $2,000, doesn't matter. I can still make money, right? So I can operate from a place where the content I make is truly content. It's really content I don't have to be biased about because it's just what I love to do. But if you have financial insecurity, then it's more like, well, I have to pay the bills. And remember, right, people, for example, one thing I've noticed is you learn this from, if you read a book, it's called Stop Acting Rich by Thomas J. Stanley. That's the name of the author. He passed away 2015. God rest his soul. But he talks about people that are affluent, rich, people that basically have a lot of money and can afford to buy all the fancy things. But the people that have, for example, they're not really that rich and spend a ton of money. My point is, a lot of people in our field, I'm not going to mention names here, for example, might buy a fancy house, might buy a fancy car, might make really risky investments, might give very risky advice. Remember, right, when you're playing the long-term game, Adam, you won't find out who's skinny dipping until the tide gets pulled back, and you don't know how long that's going to be. So your main job, if I were you live in Canada, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I remember talking to you. Yeah, you just reminded me. But if you live there, my main goal, like the steps that I follow to finance, is just change drastically. So it'll be get out of debt, save for emergencies in full. That's 6 months. Or if you're really, really crazy, 12 months. Then you buy your home, try to pay it off in cash as fast as possible. And then you're also investing money. But once that's taken care of, you have an emergency fund, you have a home paid off, all the money you make is just yours to do whatever you want with it. The biggest expense is going to be shelter. If that's done, you're good to go. So that's what I do personally. So I don't have to worry about like what this person's doing or that person's doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Like honestly, Tommy, this is just like a discussion today, honestly, of like a win more situation. It's like everything is already covered off, like all these things. Like, I mean, the one thing is I'm still paying down my mortgage, but it is what it is. But everything else is just like, you know, obviously like I'm regularly investing and emergency funds all set up, good to go. It's more like, can I just make more money faster? And not in a sense of like, I need to get it quickly, but it's like, how can I continue to progress where it keeps going up and up and up? So
you
it's just
are,
like,
but progress, progress is not like a linear thing. Yeah, exactly. You know exactly. Yeah. You know all the answers you need, but you're just having doubts because you're comparing yourself to other people. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't play that game.
No, truly, you're right. That's exactly what it is.
Imagine me, for example, right? I have 3 channels. I'm building a 4th one now. The main channel makes money. 2 other channels, I make 2 videos a day for them almost every single day. They're still not monetized. Is that saying, oh, should I give up now? I don't make any money. You can't focus on the money. Focus on the money, you'll stop doing it when you start dropping. Just focus on making good content. And on top of that, if you have your audience, Adam, a big thing is you have to monetize them in different ways by giving value. That means, again, a course, a guide, a book, merchandise, like either like t-shirts for branding with your logo, affiliate marketing, brand deals, consulting, paid engagements, potentially if you're willing. Do you show your face or no?
Do I show my face?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the new channel I am. So that one I'm just building up now. I'm trying to grind out that first 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will. I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine, like, for example, that's when you can be, and don't depend so much on AdSense. That's something that I'm learning also. So that's why I'm working on all those things, working on the courses, working on the book, working on consulting, working on brand deals, all those things, and affiliate marketing and paid engagements. If you focus on all those things and you're so busy with that stuff, the thing is, how many views do you get per month?
Like 500K.
500,000 views. Okay. Let's say, for example, you have a click through or closing rate. Let's say it's just, for example, 3%. That's around 15,000 people that you might close per month. That's a valuable asset. But if you just focus on what YouTube gives you for that, it's not going to be enough. But if you say, well, I have 15,000 people potentially I can sell a course to, a book to, I can maybe reach out to a brand to tell them, hey, I have this much engagement. You can pay me this much per every 1,000, blah, blah, blah. And you can do affiliate marketing, but you can make a lot more money from 500K than you possibly think you can. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I took a course not too long ago on YouTube, and the guy was I think it's a pretty cool guy. I forgot what his name is. Pat Flynn. I think his name is Pat Flynn. Yeah. It's from the Superfan. That's his book. And he said some channels with 1,000 and 10,000 subscribers might make more money than a channel with 100,000 subscribers. It was just based on monetizing your current audience. So if you have 1,000 people following you and your product is $3,000, and you sell them on one product, that's a lot of money. But you gotta rely less on AdSense and make all the other content that I'm pretty lazy to do, and you gotta do it also, brother.
Yeah, man. I think it's not resting on your laurels and just and I think that what this has made me learn is, as that ad revenue has been going down, it's one of those situations where it forces you to get creative, and I think that maybe that'll be the biggest blessing out of all this. But I know our 30 minutes is up, but I really appreciate you just give me a little bit of that stoking of the fire, and it's just good to be able to bounce off some ideas from someone who's has also gone through the troughs and the valleys of the YouTube journey. So I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Adam. And by the way, always feel free to call. We like you coming on the channel, okay? Have fun.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day now. Ciao.
All right, you also, Adam. Peace out. Wait, Adam.
Yeah.
Shout out your channel. I almost forgot. Shout it out again so people can know where it is.
All right. So once this one goes viral, then it'll definitely get us both some traction. Yeah. So the main channel is Betterment Boss, animated YouTube channel, and then the other one, just starting out, helping get to that 1K subs, is Adam Del Duca. So you can just search. They're all linked together, and I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Tommy.
All right, awesome. See you later, brother.
See you later. Ciao.
All right. It's crazy to think, guys, okay? One thing is this, we're almost out of time here, so I gotta leave you guys in a second. But it's crazy to think, for example, someone making $9,000 a month can feel like they're not doing enough or they're not making enough, you know? And that's one thing I've learned. I had a call where someone's making $28,000 a year, and it's feel like, Tommy, I make so much money, what can I do with it, okay? And someone can make $9,000 a month and be like, it's not enough, you know what I mean? That's why one thing that I try not to do is compare myself to anyone else. Because when you play that game, there's always going to be someone out there to compete with, and the only best person to compete with is usually going to be you. And focus on doing the right thing, whether it gives you the right results or not. You know, it's like if I'm crossing the street and it's a very busy highway and I see an old lady and I cross her the first time, people clap. Oh my gosh, Tommy, you're a hero, you're a hero. And then I cross her the second time and no one sees me. Do I stop crossing her? The answer is no. You still keep doing it no matter what, because basically it's the right thing to do. Same thing with content on YouTube. If you're making the correct content, you're doing things correctly, you're helping people, you're creative, and you're hopping on trends, but in the right, correct way, the answer is you're good to go. Whether YouTube sees it, your audience, any of that stuff, doesn't matter. Just make sure you can sleep at night with whatever you actually choose to do. And that's why, for example, I thought I needed 48K to actually live off, but I can easily do it, for example, on 30K or 25K per year, by the way, and live very comfortably. Paid off car, paid off home, and be financially free by the time I turn, for example, 25 years old. And to me, that is a lot awesomer than having a bunch of money but having to worry about crazy payments, okay? That's the core idea, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. And if you guys want to join me on my next call here, well, feel free to do so. Calls are becoming more limited and more limited, so get in while you still can right now. Link down below. See you guys tomorrow. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, if you want to DM me right here at Tommy Bryson. On top of that, here's another video right here. Click my face right here. See you guys tomorrow. As always, peace.